This year, we're not going to show you rows and rows of airplanes. Instead, we have a rather unique side to show you, consisting of products and people that make the show fun. Here is AC Air Technology. At their booth, they were demonstrating a remote-controlled aircraft tug for moving your aircraft. Quite amazing. A remote control operator allows it to be positioned and attached to your aircraft wheel and then move the aircraft in any direction you desire. Take a look. Wow. It is a mechanical wonder to watch and understand how it so effortlessly slips underneath your tail wheel or front nose wheel. There are several models depending on the weight of your aircraft. And how about one more time? Yes, please. Very, very impressive. Here is the Murphy Radical kit plane. It's a bush plane. On the right wing, I saw this bracket. I wasn't sure what it was, so I went to the other wing. And sure enough, it is a bicycle rack. It's an attachment for carrying your bike along with the plane. We put all sorts of things under the wings. Why not a bicycle? I thought that was pretty neat. Good job. At the UL Power engine booth, a special engine was put on display that would allow you to see the moving parts. A crank was attached to the crankshaft. Well, it sure attracted a lot of kids. They stepped right up, kind of got in line, and everybody wanted to crank it. We're getting our youth ready for aviation. One of the benefits of attending these shows is that we find some of our vendors bringing their entire inventory to the show so that we can shop in person. I'm referring to our parts vendors. Now in this example, Air Parts Incorporated. They are bringing aluminum sheet and steel sheet and every part you can imagine along with them on display so that we as builders can go see and touch them and pick them out in person rather than using a catalog. And I'm talking about nuts and bolts and cotter pins and even grab bags where we can get a whole bag full of stuff that we drop on the floor at a pretty good price without buying things individually. It is so neat to be able to see some of these parts in person so that we can analyze them. We need to bring our shopping list with us so that we don't forget what it is we need. That's probably the most difficult part. But just about everything a home builder needs, not necessarily a certified aircraft, but for home builders, they only bring parts that we use so that space isn't wasted on things like oil filters. And of course they have a catalog for ordering when you're back home. But can you imagine picking out your AN fittings in person so that you can get a feel for their size and make sure it fits the project you're trying to accomplish? They're all right here. Stainless steel screws of every size. And a lot of these components are packaged in small bags of 5 or 10 or 25, whatever is most appropriate. So we have a few left over even if we don't need them all. But this is a great benefit to attending these shows because it's like having the aviation department of your home builders or Home Depot store available right in front of you. Now I saved the best for last. Over in Hangar E, there is a place called the Parts Exchange, and that's where you bring your aviation-related parts to sell. they'll put a tag on it and put it on a table. There are some unbelievable things we find in here, from way back when to some current stuff. For example, do you need a case for your transponder? We got a few there. Here are some instrument panels from some vintage aircraft, and that would make, well, that's a collector's item, but it's available there. If you need some more current or individual instruments, there are racks and racks to look at. And of course, buyer beware. Now we have wheels and brakes and parts and pieces that go with wheels and brakes, all on a table, all with a tag with the price clearly marked. And where you have wheels, you're going to need wheel pants and associated fairings that go with these things. And we have engine cylinders and engine cases and engine parts and pieces and covers and components. We also have actual engines that people bring for exchanging, actually for selling, engine mounts. See if you can identify some of these popular engines. And of course, we need propellers, and there's plenty of those up here. All makes and models. And with propellers come our nose cones and the associated parts that go with them. And we actually have a powered parachute here and a motorcycle. And if you can believe this, in front of your eyes we have a jet engine. Now I'm not positive I found a white tag with this, but if you think this would look nice in your hangar, wow, just really nice. And it looked like all of the parts and pieces that go along with it were there, as if I would know. And we actually have an aircraft. Here's a Starduster 2 for $3,500 on a trailer, ready for some buyer. We have someone here that looks a little bit interested, or it just may be scratching his neck. And we have some oxygen cylinders and the components that go with it. And I recognize this white one, a ballistic parachute with probably another life to save. And we have books and magazines, aviation related. And one of my favorites is we have a bomb. Now this is not a real bomb, but a practice bomb. I believe you fill it with water and sand, because I read that on the side. Though I think this would do quite a bit of damage if you dropped it from any altitude. But this was from the 1960s. Make a great gift. And apparel for the aviator. Very authentic. These are the real things. My favorite, of course, are the seats and recliners from commercial aircraft liners from many years ago. These would look great in your living room. You'd want to clean them up a little bit. If they could talk, they sure would tell a real history. But that's a real find and available for you to take home. And even got your first class leather type right here. And that's it for this week at Sun and Fun. Until next week, everybody back to building.